Hey, welcome to a Psalm for today. I'm asking and talking about the question, what do we do when we feel abandoned by God, forgotten by God, or forsaken by God? In this part of Holy Week, we turn our attention to Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, but I find no rest. Jesus quotes this passage in Holy Week. He feels either in his natural being or in his theological distress or in his bodily experience that God has forsaken him. Now, forsaken can have several different concepts to it, which all implement or which all indicate theological blessings and theological difficulties. For example, if the word forsaken means a complete cutting off, then in that moment the Trinity was damaged, as it were. The Trinity, the unity of the Trinity was damaged greatly. It might be that why have you forsaken me is an expression of what Jesus feels in his body, kind of the trauma response of like, God, where are you? I'm about to face this cross, and I feel abandoned or forsaken. My take on this passage is that Jesus models encountering God precisely in the place where God seems most absent. In Gethsemane and on the cross, to Jesus, his Father seemed most absent. This is not a weakness in Jesus. This is not something that shows a lack of faith or a lack of confidence. You can see in Gethsemane, let this cup pass from me. Surely you've had a moment like that. God, let this go away. You've had moments where you felt, Lord, let this experience pass me by. I know I have prayed of several diseases that I would not like to die of. I'm familiar with some that are quite painful and miserable. I pray, God, I want to die healthy. I don't want to die like that. But if God allows that to come my way, so be it. And I might say, no, God, I feel forsaken. I prayed that I wouldn't have this disease or that disease. Jesus models for you and me that we often encounter God precisely in the place where he seems most absent. For example, if you have attachment wounds or you've had religious trauma and you've been told that your suffering is a sign of weak faith, one of my friends told me that his church used to teach that glasses, wearing these glasses that I'm wearing today, was a lack of faith. That in fact God could have healed my eyes, but since I wore glasses, he wouldn't. The forsakenness of Jesus depathologizes your experience. It means it's not a sickness. There's not something wrong for you to have a feeling of abandonment. It normalizes the felt absence of God as a human experience, not a spiritual failure. Jesus did not have a spiritual failure on the cross when he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? But he did have a human experience that felt an absence of God's presence. Or if you've prayed and felt only silence, and you've said, God, I prayed, where are you? You've sat in a hospital room, you've been through a divorce, you've had a diagnosis, you've had a loss. This cry of Jesus, my God, why have you forsaken me? Says, you're not outside God's experience. Jesus, being fully God, experienced this also. You are inside God's experience. The forsaken are not forgotten. They are accompanied by the one who was forsaken first. Brothers and sisters, when you feel abandoned, forsaken, forgotten by God. The cross experience of Jesus, my God, why have you forsaken me, comes to us and says this is a normal human experience. It's okay to have this experience. It's also okay to know that when you feel this way and you're able to verbalize it. Notice God did not send lightning to destroy Jesus when he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? This is not the action of God to do something detrimental to his son. It says that you are not outside God's experience, you are inside it. And so when you feel these feelings, you can bring them to God. Psalm 22 does not end with, why have you forsaken me? Psalm 22 comes around into an act of praise that God has been faithful, that God is present. So we opened with the question, have you ever felt forsaken, abandoned, or maybe even forgotten by God? Jesus redeems that feeling and says, God is with you, even when you feel this sense that he isn't. God is faithful, even when you have a sense that he isn't. And when you think, God, you have left me alone, I'm here by myself, you realize that you aren't outside of what God has experienced. You are inside what God has experienced. So in this Holy Week, as we reflect upon the experiences of Jesus and how they align with our experiences, feel free to tell God your feelings. Jesus did not hurt God's feelings by telling him, why have you forsaken me? On the contrary, Jesus authenticated the need to be vulnerable, the need to say what you're feeling. And I like to say about my own life, I say, can't tell God because he has big shoulders and he can take it. I say, God, I feel abandoned. He's not going, oh, you're kidding. I had no idea. He's like, I told Peter to tell you, casting all your cares upon me because I care for you. So authentic, genuine, verbal communication to God does not take you outside of his experience, but places you solidly in the experience of Jesus in both Gethsemane and on the cross.